Hey everybody, what's going on? And today we are playing Mow Money from Mayday Games. Ooh. So how's it going, sir?
I'm well.
What is Mow Money?
So Mow Money is a game in which we are brand new entrepreneurs who have started a mowing business, and we are attempting to compete against other startups for a lucrative contract to be the lawn maintenance workers for the entire city. So we are going to be servicing two different areas in a 2-player game, Apple Hollow and Bear Cave Way. And we are going to be attempting to secure as many contracts from these two locations as we can. And each of them is worth points at the end of the game. Whoever has the most points wins. And that signifies that you secured the most contracts and were then awarded the contract for the city maintenance as well. So it seems like a fairly straightforward bidding and bluffing game. We have these buttons that we'll use to attempt to bid. So I can use button A to indicate that I'm bidding for the project up in Apple Hollow, or I can use the B button to indicate that I'm attempting to snag the contract up in Bear Cave Valley. I can also, instead of doing A or B, I could try to do an odd job, and that would let me score some bonus money based on what sort of odd jobs I wanted to do. So on your, it's not really turn-based, it's sort of simultaneous. So when you are preparing to do something, you will select one of these privately that you would like to use to indicate what you're going to go for. So I could go for the contract in Apple Hollow or the Bear Cave Way, or I could go for the odd job. Let's pretend that I wanted to go for the Bear Cave Way. So I would select my B button privately, and I would put that down, and then I would choose some cards, and I'm not going to show you my cards because we've already dealt for the game, but I would choose some cards that I wanted to play to try to win this contract here. And the way that this works is that I need to have exactly 2 of these lawnmower symbols. So if I have 2 of these lawnmower symbols on cards in my hand, then I can use those cards to bid for that. Now every card has a amount of money on the card. So I wouldn't be able to use just this one because I need 2 lawnmower symbols. But if I had a second lawnmower symbol, we would add up all of the money on those cards, and that would be the amount that I'm bidding for that card. The low bid wins because it's like, you're actually competing for bids. So you're going to people's houses and saying, I'll mow your lawn for X number of dollars. So the low bid wins, and they get this card here, and it's worth this number of points. You can then stake your reputation on future rounds so that you can use cards you've already won to sort of lessen the cost of future contracts that you're attempting to acquire. And yeah, so you select the cards that you're going to bid with, you put them under your button, and then players simultaneously reveal, and the highest bid at each location, the lowest bid at each location wins the contract for that location. There are bluffing cards. We all have 3 of these bluffing cards that we can use. So players never quite know exactly how many real cards their opponents are using to pad their bid, or if they have maybe some fake cards in there. So if I did something like this, there are 5 cards there, but you don't know how many of them are actually real cards, or how many of them are my bluff cards. So yeah, you play until the neighborhood deck of, I believe it's just 1 location runs out, and then you add up all of the money that you've acquired, all the points you've acquired, and whoever has the most points wins.
Awesome. So we'll go ahead and start playing until we get to mid-game, and then we'll go ahead and talk to you guys about how we're enjoying it and what we think so far of it. So, alright, well, until then, toodles! So how's it going so far in Mow Money?
It's an interesting game.
It's better than what we thought, because the ratings weren't that great.
The ratings are not very good on this game. But I've wanted to try it for a long time. And a friend of mine who used to work at Mayday Games was giving away some games from her collection. She was sort of purging games, and she's just giving them away. And I told her, I was like, well, I would like to have Mow Money if that's okay. So she very generously sent Mow Money to me absolutely for free just because she is a nice person. And so I'm really glad that I got to try it. I think I'm glad that I didn't pay for it. Because if I would have paid for this and then I would have had this experience, I probably would have been kind of frustrated. But as a free game, it's perfectly fine, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And you always feel like you're shuffling cards around, especially your contracts. And, the cards that come into your possession and how they come into your possession and just spending, getting money, spending money. It's almost like, it felt like a little bit of pret-a-porter.
The Lawnmower Edition.
In the Lawnmower Edition. But it was like, you have to take money to spend money and get money. You have to get money to spend money or be in the game to get some play in the game. So that's what the money kind of felt like, because as far as we know that money doesn't have any points.
Yeah, I don't believe money is worth anything at the end. So you're just using the money to buy the stuff that you need to get the cards that do get you points.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because if a contract comes up and no one is able to claim it, then it will come up again later, most likely. So you can kind of... okay, well, I definitely can't get that one now. I don't have all the cards I need to get that now. But then you kind of know, like, hey, there's a chance that one's coming back up, and maybe I can start to prep so that when it does come back up, maybe I'd be ready that time. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's better than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm having some fun. It's definitely interesting how you do things and how you acquire things. And the ways you get money, and if you're stuck with cards, you can do like odd jobs and like kind of sacrifice money to get more money. And every time you do an odd job, whatever money you make, you get $3 more for that. So it's a weird fluctuation of things that's happening. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get back into it, and we will go ahead and tell you guys who is the new mowing industry tycoon of the city, and who has to go look for work elsewhere. All right, toodles. So Sarah, how was your time with your Mow Money?
Yeah, you think so? It was actually really fun. I enjoyed it.
It was interesting because it was like rated really low
it's
on
not
BGG,
well rated.
but
I've not heard like terrific things about it, if I've heard anything about it. But I actually thought it was interesting and pretty unique. And it was fun. And I honestly was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to be great for 2 players because it is a bidding and bluffing game. So I thought, usually
that doesn't really bode well for 2 players.
Exactly. Usually those are better with like more players, but it functioned just fine at 2. And I thought that it was interesting and fun, and I liked it.
Yeah, it was a surprise because at first I was just kind of like, we're gonna do this because we just want to like you wanted to play. I just wanted to see. You wanted to see.
I've been interested in this one for a while, and I was walking into it, thinking, okay, it might not be that great, but I just kind of want to find out for myself how it plays and what I think about it and stuff like that. I'm actually really glad we tried it because I thought it was fun.
That's one of the biggest things. You gotta find out the game for yourself sometimes because there'll be BGG ratings and there'll be other reviewers that'll be like, this is great, this is that. But we've had in our experience of many games that are like, this is terrible. This is a train wreck. Like, yeah. I am having frustrations. You were having frustrations teaching me the game, and I was having frustrations trying to understand the game.
Not this one.
Like, not this one.
Yeah.
But other games that people have been like raving over, and it's just like I don't really
Well,
get it.
I'm actually, so we have off camera, and I'm not going to show it, but off camera, we have two very large bins filled with games that we have purged from our collection recently that we will be getting rid of. Probably in like through trading or secondary market or that kind of thing. And I'm looking over at those stacks and stacks of games, and I know for a fact that like the top half dozen games that I can see on top of the stack are rated more highly than this one, but they're in the pile of games that we're getting rid of, and this
one
one's
is
not.
not.
Yeah,
And
so
it's just interesting because like people rave about these games. You're like, okay, yeah, you know, I will spend my, you know, hard-earned money on getting these games, or my fun money. So, you know, if you don't have that much fun money to kind of splurge around with, and you like board games, you want to be able to have that kind of like, okay, let's look up at the things. And then when you see reviews and you see, you know, ratings, which ratings aren't everything, we find out then again and again that sometimes the game is pretty good, or the game is like, you know, not that great. I mean, we could name off, which we won't for kindness, some games that we didn't like, wasn't in our wheelhouse.
well, and that's what I'm saying. These games right over here that we're getting rid of, there's a good number of them in this stack that we've played that we did not like and we're getting rid of, but that are rated more highly than this one.
But that's kind of the catch-22. That's great. We have the, you know, the funding and or the connections to get ourselves games that, you know, in a frequent base of like just constant flux, and some people don't. So it's hard to, you know, just search through all the information of all the games. And so this one's a win. This one is definitely a very weird,
It is strange. It is a very odd
theme.
game. Yeah.
And so, but other than that, I mean, the production was pretty, you know, it was decent.
Yeah, it's decent.
wasn't-
The cards are not
yeah.
bad quality. The pieces are like thick cardstock. The money is, you know, I don't know if I can get it to focus, but oh, there we go. So yeah, anyway, thick cardstock pieces.
It's just like standard card
Yeah,
stock.
the cards were
So,
fine.
I mean, it was fine. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't like
Look at the first
super
player
great.
token. The first player token is cool.
So yeah,
And I think probably it can go all the way up to it can go up to six players. You can play it as a solo game.
which is like, again, we've now this is like one of our second or third games that has some range that was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. You know, it can go all the way to 1, or it can go all the way to 8. I mean, it's just it's
I don't think it's like incredibly well polished. Like some of the artwork is, you know, a little, you know, nothing great about like the
Yeah.
artwork.
but I mean, just some of the stuff like,
But
you know,
it's
like you
totally
said, the first
functional, and it's yeah, I don't know. It's totally functional. It's decent quality components and stuff like that. The artwork is a little bit basic, I would say, but it doesn't even look. It's not like pre-pro art or anything like that. It's just kind of basic artwork,
which isn't bad, but at the same time, you know, you want to try to give it that flair. But yeah, even these cardboard bits, they're not terrible, but they're also not, you know, stunning high-end quality and acrylic bits.
I think that's the thing, right? Like nothing in this game is like stunning. Not the components, not the gameplay, anything like that. But it's all good. Like it's good enough to be to create, you know, to come together to make a decent game.
Yeah, and to have like a little spot in my collection because, you know, I don't want games that I'm not going to be playing, or just because it was highly rated, or just because other people other than me say it's good. You know, it might be good, but it's not good for me. So why would I have it in my collection? So, yeah, this is a win. And if you all ever check it out or see any once conventions are back in swing, and you see someone with Mow Money, give it a shot. So it's pretty cool. So until next time, toodles.